Hello, hello, and welcome back to video. Today we are talking about an ever important question of why is it that we break our promises to ourselves? This keeps coming up over and over again in my conversations with my clients, in the Facebook community, which is Badass and Brilliant Living. If you're not a part of it, definitely hop on over and join us in these conversations. In the women's circle that I run, all over the place. It just keeps coming up with smart, ambitious, creative women like you who have a really hard time keeping their word to themselves. And as we've been talking about it, it's become apparent to me that this is hugely mojo crushing. And since I'm an expert on how to have your mojo reinvigorated and really working for you so you can thrive in business and in life, I thought it was worthy of conversation today. So what I want you to consider is how often do you break promises to yourself? That can be anything from I'm going to go to the gym this morning, or I'm going to write that next chapter of my book, or I'm going to submit 3 new job applications, or I'm going to go to a networking event, or I'm going to seek out a mastermind group for my business. And then you say something to the effect of, later, next time, there's something else that's more important, so on and so forth. Fill in the blank, right? My kids wouldn't get their shoes on in time. It was a really stressful morning. It's okay if we're just a few minutes late. They'll understand. It's not that important anyway. This other person needs me more. Whatever comes up for you, those are your reasons or your excuses, and they seem really real in the moment, and I have 100% been there. I think I'm the biggest culprit when it comes to exercise, where I really just don't state that as an actual commitment to myself in a powerful way. So the first thing to ask yourself is, how often do you do that? How often do you say to yourself, I'm going to do this thing for me, for my business, for my partnership, whatever it might be, and then because nobody heard you say it out loud, or nobody was counting on you, or whatever it might be, it's easy to kind of let yourself off the hook. So how often does that happen for you? And then the question is, what do you do about it, and what is the cost to doing nothing about it? So what we discussed in my client groups is that there's a huge cost to letting ourselves break our promises to ourselves. I know that each of you is a total leader, that you are really out to make a difference in this world, that you're creative and passionate and smart, and you want to offer something up. And sometimes you don't live in that space. You let it slip away. That's the mojo that sort of starts to die. That's that fire inside, that sense of power and effectiveness and confidence and ease and poise. And so I want you to notice, how often do you break your promises to yourself? What are the things you're saying to yourself in those moments? What excuses or reasons are you offering up to yourself that seem to let you off the hook temporarily? And then what's the cost of that? Like, what does that feel like to know that you put your promises to other people before your promises to yourself? What does that feel like for you to know that you somehow diminish the importance of your own needs, or the things that you know will take you to the next level, both in your intimate world or in your business or professional world? Once you can notice how frequently you do it, what the things are that you're saying to yourself, and what the costs are to your own vitality, to your business growth, to the reliability of your relationships, to how people see you, then I want you to ask yourself, what would it take for you to keep those promises more frequently? What would it take? What would it take? Who would you have to be someone that when you say to yourself, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes, 5 days a week, you actually did meditate for 10 minutes, 5 days a week? Who would you have to be, and what would you have to do to make that happen, like as if your life depended on it, right? Really consider that for yourself. And then, just a homework challenge, choose something and follow through with it. I don't care what it is. Make it realistic. So if you haven't worked out in 6 months, don't say you're going to work out every single day, because usually that's a setup for failure. But if you're going to go to the gym once a week and you haven't gone in 6 months, that once a week is way better than never. And then hold to it like your life depended on it. What would that be like for you? Who would you have to be, and how would it feel to honor your word in that way? I'm going to tell you, it feels like you're a total badass. That's what it feels like. It feels like you have power and effectiveness on a whole nother level when you honor what you need as a priority. So I want to challenge you this week to consider, where are all the areas that you break promises to yourself? What does that sound like in your own head when you're letting yourself off the hook? What are the costs to you and others when you break those promises to yourself? And what would it take for you to choose something, and I challenge you to actually do this, and hold to it no matter what? It is an enormous exercise in being a total freaking badass. Now here's the caveat that I just want to put out there. Life is fluid, life happens, things happen. Really, things happen. People get in car accidents on their way to work and they're late. Things happen. I want this to be a dance. I want to invite you to have this be a dance between powerful, powerful, powerful promises to yourself, holding your integrity at an extraordinarily high level, and self-forgiveness when the shit hits the fan. If it hits the fan, it hits the fan. Then you clean it up as fast as possible. You communicate with the person that, you were late to meet. You skipped your Wednesday at the gym, you go on Thursday. You clean it up, you clean it up, you clean it up, you clean it up as quickly as possible so you can get back into that powerful mojo space. The mojo space of, I am a total badass and I do what I say I'm going to do, even to myself, even though nobody else heard that promise but me, even though that promise was just made between me and my own heart. Keep that promise like the badass that you are. And dance with self-forgiveness when the occasional shit hits the fan. That's what I want you to do this week. That is my challenge to you. And that is how you step into that powerful, powerful mojo place of effectiveness. And I'm so excited to hear how that unfolds for you. Head on over to the Facebook community, Badass and Brilliant Living, and let us know. Or on the Facebook page if you prefer. Can't wait to hear about it. And I'll see you next time for more conversations on Badass and Brilliant Living. Bye.